Alright, number 4, we're asked to find the domain and range of the function 2 times square root of x plus 3 minus 1. So, again, I'd say the easiest, most straightforward way that you'll be able to do this is just to look at the graph. So I've typed it in and I've graphed it, and I'm going to go off of this graph to get my domain and range. So for domain, recall that that is your input values, your x values. So our x values on this graph go from, it looks like, -3 to positive infinity. So -3 to positive infinity. So I'm going to say -3 to positive infinity for my domain. And then for my range, it goes from, remember that the range is your y values, your output values, so it goes from -1 to positive infinity. Alright, number 5. We're asked to find the inverse. So I'm going to go ahead and change f of x to y. So to get the inverse, the one thing that we have to understand is that what the inverse does is it switches the input and output values of your function. So this first step, which kind of seems like a kind of awkward step here, we're going to switch our variables. Because again, what the inverse function does is it switches the inputs and outputs. So it switches your x's and your y's. So once I get y by itself, I'll have the inverse function. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So I got x plus 2 equals 1/4 y. Then I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. To get my inverse function. And I think if it's like this, I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 4. So we got 4x plus 8 equals y. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in inverse notation. So I'm going to say f inverse of x equals 4x plus